Well, good morning, good morning. Good morning from Massachusetts. I hope you can hear me well and see me well. Thank you for joining me. Some people have already said hello in the chat. If you're watching and you haven't joined as a member, that's okay. You can watch and listen and learn with us. If you do see the join button, now's the time to click it and join. I'm going to take a quick look at the laptop and make sure that the audio and video are fine. Yep, looks good on my end. You can give me a confirmation, a thumbs up, or just let me know that you're hearing me and seeing me well. We have about a half hour together, maybe a little more, we'll see. This is our monthly live stream with a member-only chat, so I welcome you to join every month, and members can send in questions. I received one or two that I will address right now, and during the live stream, perhaps towards the end would be better to see if there are any new questions. Hey, Larissa, I see Larissa just joined as well. My hippo, I see you. Hello, hello. Good to see the crowd growing. So, again, one of the ways you can study with me beyond my videos is through this live stream, and members are welcome to join the live chat and send in questions in advance. Let's get warmed up. I have some vocabulary and grammar and even some listening and pronunciation planned for us today, okay? Well, our time together will be full of hopefully useful activities for you. I'm sharing my screen. I'm hoping that you can see what I see. Let's take a peek on the laptop. I know there's also a delay and it varies from device to device. I'm looking over at my laptop and it's several seconds behind. Hope your day is starting out well. Some of you are ahead of me in another time zone. Thank you for joining me at this time of the day. Yesterday we had our holiday here. It was a long holiday weekend in the U.S., the 4th of July. If you follow me on Instagram, I shared some of the fireworks that I saw with my children. That's something I always look forward to. I love watching fireworks. And we're lucky enough that the neighboring town always has a pretty good display of fireworks. Usually not on the 4th of July, but a few days before. Nope, I don't see. Goodness. Okay, sure. There we go. How's that? Thank you for confirming, Iris. I was waiting to see, waiting for the magic of technology to happen. Let's see if that works. Hey, Manuel. Yes, it's usually appropriate to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Ah, there we go. There's the magic. I think it's because there was the holiday weekend in my mind. Today is like a Monday, so I'm not quite as sharp yet. I will be as we go along. So here's some summer vocabulary. It's a little warm up. I have a nice picture here full of color, and let's see what you know. This isn't baking or frying. What is it? Thanks for confirming, Iris. Oh, Manuel, I appreciate that. Yes, it's just another tragedy here in the U.S. We try to balance back and forth between acknowledging and processing our tragedies and then still trying to remain optimistic. Or else, how can you look forward till tomorrow, right? Close. But let's talk about how we're cooking the food. Maybe in American English, that's not what I would choose. That's not the first word that comes to mind. Here's a little hint if you know what is underneath the food. It comes from that word. Okay, grill, there's the word. So this is grilled food. Manuel wrote the adjective like grilled meat, grilled vegetables. So when we talk about how you cook, notice we use the ing form, a gerund. It's not baking, it's not frying, it's grilling. Okay? Grilling. So the verb is to grill. That's the verb. And the adjective Manuel wrote for us, grilled. So this is grilling on a grill. That's also the the thing that you use. You put it on a grill and then you grill. And then you get grilled food. Barbecue, yes. When I think of barbecue, I primarily think of meat only, and often barbecued meat has a sort of sauce on it. But you can grill vegetables, you can grill seafood. Okay, grilling could happen inside, but when there's a fire and when you use gas, propane, for example, or charcoal, this is not indoor cooking. So, what's the opposite of indoor cooking? Where does it happen? Just testing out your quick recall of vocabulary. If these words are not familiar, then note them down and you can review them later today. A wonderful way to review vocabulary is to first write it down so you can review. Then say the words out loud. Check the pronunciation in a dictionary. I've often recommended Youglish. I still do. It's a good resource. But then also use the words. Say a sentence out loud or write a sentence. Outdoors. We do it outdoors. Outdoors, outside. So you can say outdoor cooking. So it happens outdoors with the S, and it's sort of outdoor cooking, but it happens outdoors. Outside. Okay. If you put pieces of meat, fish, or vegetables on those long sticks, what have you created? And what are those long sticks called? You can go back. And Stunning Lad 1 used a word with an ing. If you take off that ing, that will help here. Okay, so Ray, Stunning Lad 1, put the word skewing. If we put on an er, skewer. Skewer. So the long piece of wood or metal that we stick the food on is a skewer. Then we can grill, right? And what have you created? There we go. Kebabs. Okay, now here's an interesting word. One kebab, it's countable, so many kebabs. Now, some people like to do shish in front of it. You can, shish kebabs, but I'm going to put that in parentheses because I've seen it used without that. Plus, we can talk about a vegetable kebab or shrimp kebabs. So I've seen kebabs used just as a single word. So grilling is very common in the summertime. This is what we do in our backyards or in a balcony if you have an apartment. This is definitely not indoor cooking. It happens outdoors. And we stick meat or vegetables on a skewer, and then you've created a kebab, a shish kebab. So you can see on this grill, we have some very colorful kebabs, and you can write some of the foods that you see. And that'll be our vocabulary warm-up. So hopefully a mix of perhaps old and new vocabulary. Grill, grilling, outdoors, kebab, shish kebabs. American pronunciation differs from British. We say kebab, shish kebabs, skewer. And do you see all the colorful foods? What do you see? Perhaps there's some things that you wouldn't eat. That's fine. Some people eat meat. Some people don't. Some people choose only certain meats. I do like the colors I see here. I think this is definitely a mix of meats and vegetables. Yep, I see cucumbers. We can say cucumbers, or we can say cukes for short, right? But I see slices of cucumbers. There are cucumber slices, slices of cucumber. Yeah, I think so. Doesn't it seem like the meat has been sprinkled with herbs? And that reddish herb is most likely paprika, although it could be red pepper too. Yellow peppers, green peppers. I love peppers. That's a very common choice for grilling. Peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers. I see some onions. There we go. There's the list, Manuel. Peach. Is that a peach? Oh, you know what? I could be wrong. I think it's a yellow pepper, but you never know. Some people stick on fruit of all kinds. I do suspect that this is some sort of meat, chicken, pork, I can't tell. Yes, I do see that this piece wrapped up at the end, it looks like bacon to me. Some people like to eat bacon, other people absolutely hate it. So, all right, hopefully that gets you in a summertime mood. Hopefully you can enjoy some grilled food. It tastes wonderful. Okay. As we go along, I'll still try to check for new questions, but let's try to get through as much as we can that I've planned for you. And then towards the end, I can open up the chat to questions, new ones. Okay, so again, click join if you want to join in. There's an active group there. You can join in the chat if you click the button. So a big question came in, and it's about how are reduced adjectives, how are they different from reduced adverb clauses? Whew, big topic. Adjective clauses versus adverb clauses, and when we reduce them, meaning shorten them, how are they different? It's a big topic. Thankfully, I have big collections of videos. I have 2 playlists. Please check them out. If you go to my homepage, you have to click videos and then created playlists, and you will see the playlists there. You can also go to my website, englishwithjennifer.com, and you'll see the links. But basically, Students has a drop-down menu, select videos, and you'll see all my playlists nicely organized. I have one for adjective clauses, and in my advanced grammar playlist, you'll find adverb clauses. Hey, welcome. I got a new member. Mako, welcome. Glad to have you here. So here's a quick summary, and you can review. Again, this is all recorded, but basically adjective clauses identify or describe the noun that they follow. I hope this is big enough. I know some of you are on your phones. Let's see if I can go a little bigger. Doot, 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 doot. How's that? Can you still see? I can go even bigger. How's that? I don't want my photo or my video to cover things up. Okay, so in sentence A, for example, let's find the adjective clause. The family that was sitting next to us commented on every single firework that went off. Right? Sometimes when you're sitting at a park and watching fireworks, usually people clap or say ooh or ah. Some people talk about each one. Ooh, that was pretty. Ooh, that was green. That was big, you know. So everybody reacts differently to a fireworks show or a display of fireworks. Okay. So here, the basic sentence is the family commented on every single firework that went off. So the adjective clause, right there, it follows the noun that it's describing. Which family? The family that was sitting next to us. Okay. So a reduced clause omits who, which, or that. Relative pronouns are who, which, that, whose, whom. What else do we have? The relative adverbs where, when, why. But when we have who, which, and that, we might be able to reduce it or shorten it. First, we also look for a reduced clause. If it has a form of be, we take out the relative pronoun, we take out the form of be. And often you're left with a noun phrase, or a present or past participle. Even if there is not a form of be, you can sometimes change an active verb to a present participle. If this is like all new and you're like, whoa, I don't know what she's talking about, again, I have a whole playlist that takes you through adjective clauses and how to reduce them. Okay? All right, so here, relative pronouns, does it fall into that group? Yes. Okay, let's try taking it out. Do I have a form of be? Yes, I do. Let's try taking that out. What am I left with? Whoops, I meant to take that out. Juke. Didn't. Boop, boop, boop. I am left with a participle, ing, a present participle. The family sitting next to us commented on every single firework that went off. I have not changed the position, I have only shortened it by taking out the relative pronoun and the form of be, and I'm left with this ing form. That's a reduced adjective clause. Okay? All right. B. Watching fireworks, which is a common tradition on the 4th of July, is something I love to do with my children. Yes, I see Ray's Stunning Lad 1 is already identifying the adjective clauses for us right there. This one is in commas. It's set off with commas because it's extra information. I don't really need this information. I'm just adding details. I could simply say watching fireworks is something I love to do with my children. This little added detail is not necessary. Do I have a relative pronoun that can be taken out? Yes, I do. Do I have a form of be? Yes, I do. What am I left with? A common tradition on the 4th of July. I'm left with a noun phrase. The new sentence with a reduced clause, watching fireworks, a common tradition on the 4th of July, is something I love to do with my children. A noun phrase has a fancy name that some of you might know. It's called an appositive. It's basically renaming the subject. Okay, it's defining it a different way, giving it a different name. Okay, so here we go with C and D. C and D, can you reduce them for me? Remember, here's your hint. If there is not a form of be, you can sometimes change an active verb to a present participle. That's a form with an ing. Okay, I'll go a little bigger there. How do you reduce C and D? Go step by step. The adjective clause will follow a noun. It gives more information, either necessary or additional. You can reduce it if it's one of these relative pronouns. Look for a form of be. Am, are, is, was, were. Can you take it out? See what you're left with. If you're left with a noun or present or past participle, you're probably fine. Here's another tip. Just because you can reduce a clause doesn't mean you have to all the time. Okay, Manuel is stepping in with the drones. He took out the relative pronoun and the verb to be. The drones sent up to record the fireworks were a little distracting at times. Which drones? The ones that were sent up. So this is necessary information to talk about which drones bothered me. They didn't bother me, but I was watching the fireworks. I'm like, what are all those things? People were sending up their drones to record the fireworks, but sometimes it was actually entertaining to see how bold the users were because they were trying to get really close to the fireworks. I thought one of the fireworks would knock out a drone or like blow it up. But the drones sent up. What am I left with? A past participle. How about the last one? Who's going to suggest? This one's a little tricky. Which towns? The ones that host firework displays. Can you take out the relative pronoun? You may not have a form of be, but what can you do with the verb? Try changing it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Two heads are better than one. So Manuel's saying, take out that. Okay. And Ray, Stunning Lad 1, is suggesting that host can change to hosting. Do you see what we just did? Let's change that to a different color so you can note it. You can notice more easily. Bigger towns hosting fireworks displays welcome outsiders on July 4th. Bigger towns hosting firework displays. It's an active verb. We can change it to a present participle. Hosting. So host must change. If you're going to reduce it, that present tense verb, host, is going to change to hosting, a present participle. Okay? So again, we can reduce them sometimes. With one of these relative pronouns, it's very easy if there's a form of be. If there is not a form of be, you might still be able to change it. Read it out loud, say it out loud, see if it sounds natural, if it's clear, then you can leave it as a reduced adjective clause. But as I said, you don't always have to reduce just because you can. Okay? All right, so keep this in mind, the position and the process, because the question that came in was how adjective clauses differ from adverb clauses as we're reducing them. Adverb clauses of time and reason can have an initial or final position, so they can come at the beginning of a sentence or at the end of a sentence, at beginning or end of a main clause, basically. And you can only reduce it if the subject in the main clause is the same as the subject in the adverb clause. That is a must, okay? If there are different subjects, then you're not going to reduce. This is very important. All right. In clauses of time, we often keep the adverb, which is a subordinating conjunction. Those are words like while, after, before. Let's put examples. Okay. After, before, while. Things like that. But in clauses of reason, for example, with because, we usually omit the adverb. Okay. A reduced clause omits the subject in any form of be. Doesn't that sound familiar? Okay. A reduced clause can change a verb in the simple present or past to a present participle. And you'll see what happens. Now people argue, and I have a video on this, is it a present participle or is it a gerund? Once we say like before going, after going. I'm not going to argue with anyone over terminology, just use the same form, ing, okay? Let's just even change that to ing if that makes everybody happy. To an ing form. This way no one will argue with me. We'll all agree on the form, if not the name. Oh, yeah. Good point there, Ray. Or was that Manuel? Good. Okay, so what are we looking for now? An initial or final position. While Joe was grilling, the other guys stood around and watched. Hopefully you see which one is the main clause, the main idea, and which one is the adverb clause. I'll go bigger. Hopefully that helps you. Okay. A little bit. It's getting off my screen. How about that? Okay. Initial position. Look at this. Doot, 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 doot. There we go. That's our adverb clause of time. Here's our main clause. Okay. Remember the rule here. Only if the subjects are the same can we reduce them. Joe, the other guys. So, no. We're not even going to touch this one. But look at the next one. Joe, he. Yes. Okay. While Joe was grilling, he talked about his vacation. Okay, so what can we do now? If it's time, we often keep it, and we can change the verb to an ing form or omit the form of be. We already have an ing form. So, tuk, 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 look what we do. And we omit the subject and the verb to be. And what do we have? While grilling. Now we lost the subject, so let's stick him back in there. While grilling, Joe talked about his vacation. You could also say Joe talked about his vacation while grilling. It has that flexibility, initial or final position. Manuel, you're following along. Good. Okay. Let's do one more together. Because we were feeling hungry, we snacked on fruits and chips, right? Took a while for Joe to grill the food, so we were snacking on things. Luckily, the host or hostess put out some fruit and chips. This is the main clause. What we did, we snacked. Why? Because we were feeling hungry. In clauses of reason, we usually omit the adverb. Okay, let's take it out. Omit the subject in any form of be. Okay. And this is all possible because we have we. The subjects are the same. And the new sentence, feeling hungry, we snacked on fruit and chips. Okay. These kinds of reduced clauses are more typical of written English than spoken English. It's a little more formal. Okay. So again, I'll pause right now, and I want you to see how you do on D and E. And I did have a sense that we would definitely push past our 30-minute mark. That's okay. We can go about 5 to 10 minutes over. I'm always up for more studying and practice together if you are too. And whatever we don't get to, I will create as part of the follow-up task. So remember, members not only get to participate in the live chat, there will be a follow-up task or set of tasks for them to complete on the community tab. If you visit my community tab, there are posts for everyone, but there are also member-only posts. Sometimes I share videos throughout, or videos or pictures of what's going on in my life at the time, but definitely after the live stream there are member-only posts because I want to share follow-up tasks. Okay. Feeling hungry. Remember, you need the comma still though. Feeling hungry while grilling, keep the comma. Okay. If it's the initial position, use a comma to separate the phrase from the main clause. Very good. We're keeping this. We're taking out the subject, and we're going to change this to ing, before grilling. Okay, that's what I do. I have my hair, I know to pull it back for safety reasons because I don't want my hair to catch on fire. That would be bad. You're right, you could flip it around. Mahippo, I like what you did. Manuel, you could shift it and say before grilling, comma. Before grilling, I pull my hair back. And so then Ray has jumped in with after grilling. Okay, so again, we're good to go. Let's take this out. Change this to ing. So we changed it here, and we changed it here. Whoops, you didn't mean to do that. Okay. After grilling everything to perfection, I served it with pride at our dinner table. Okay. If you wanted to get a little more formal, I'll just show this one. It is possible to use this form. Having grilled everything to perfection. This is just another form, another alternative. If you'd like to use this form, it's a little bit more formal to my ears. Having grilled. I still have an ing, but this combination of having plus a past participle also clarifies the timeline. Right? First, I grilled everything to perfection, and then I served it. There are two past points in time. First, I grilled, then I served. Having grilled everything to perfection. Same thing as after grilling everything to perfection. Okay? So those are short forms. If you'd like to review how to reduce adverb clauses and adjective clauses, again, go to my playlist for adjective clauses. I go through the full forms and how to reduce them. In my advanced grammar playlist, I have a 4-part lesson on adverb clauses. I believe I also have some review exercises on my website under the student menu. Okay, super job. Good questions coming in. So at the time we have left, we're going to do a couple things. I'm going to start you out on a quiz that we will do the first half together, and the second half I'm going to give as part of your homework, so to speak. It'll be your follow-up task on the community tab. So again, with the theme of summer and what do a lot of Americans do, they head to lakes and oceans and rivers and whatnot. Water sports and outdoor sports are very common at this time. And these are 2 pictures that I hope you might recognize. Does anyone know what these 2 sports or activities are called? What kinds of boats? You can glance down in my sentences and try to find those words. These people are on types of boats, but we have specific names. Oh, stunning lad, you found all the fun stickers. Do you see the difference that this has a double-sided paddle, and you do the left and the right and the left and the right, and then this one has a single oar with a single paddle. I guess what's the difference, paddle and oar? I would say this is the oar and these ones are paddles. But in any case, these are different types. Kayaks and canoes. Okay, so this is canoeing. With the ing, if we just focus on this, this is called a canoe. There are 2 people in the canoe. They are canoeing. These 2 people are in kayaks. There are kayaks for 1 person. There are kayaks for 2 people. They are kayaking. Okay, Manuel is jumping ahead. Last weekend, John and Silva went kite. Good example. Love it. So what do I have here? We're going to do number 2 together. Yes, this one is going to be homework. Okay, take a look. I'm giving you hints with time expressions like last weekend, this summer, this coming weekend, before he met Sylvia as a teen. These will cue you in. Let's do a quick test of verb forms. Okay. What form of go would you put here? Take the verb and put it in the appropriate form, past, present, or future, and which present form, which future form. I'll pause for a moment, give you some time to think, and we'll correct together. And remember, I do have a whole playlist on verb tenses in English. There are review exercises on my website. Those of you watching, you just write them down. Get a piece of paper or use your phone. Write your own answers, and we'll all check together. Yes, Manuel. They are going kayaking. You could omit too. Like going shopping, they're going shopping, they're going canoeing, they're going... Where are they going to go? Unless you said they're going to go kayaking. Then you could use the to. Manuel, I see you're learnt there. It's an acceptable form. Most American English speakers would use an ed form, learned. Okay. All right, so the answers are coming in. Last weekend, a finished action, a closed period of time. I agree. Went, simple past. Finished action. Already this summer, A few times. I don't know exactly when, there's no specific information, but this is part of their past experience. And it sure sounds like because they go kayaking and they're people who like to kayak, they might do this again, right? So something that happened already and could repeat again uses the present perfect. That connection between a past period of time to the present or future. That's the past perfect. Have gone. They've gone kayaking. They've gone kayaking a few times and they may go again, right? An action that happened and may repeat uses the present perfect. This coming weekend, what did you guys suggest? Planning. Manuel, I like what you wrote. Manuel. Have gone. There's a few. Again, what could we say? I like the are planning. They're planning. If we took out plan and say go, they're going to go. That would be acceptable. They're going to, and we'd say not going to go. Many people would say they're going to go. They're going to go again. But that really means they are going to go. I think they're planning to go again, right? For the future, especially for the immediate future, and when we talk about our plans for the immediate future, we can use the present progressive. What are you doing tonight? I'm meeting some friends. What are you doing tomorrow? I'm studying all day. If those are your immediate plans, you can use the present progressive. Present progressive or going to, right? I'm kayaking tomorrow, right, with some friends. I'm going to go kayaking. Those are your plans for the future. With Sylvia, we're going to understand that Sylvia is an adult now, and in the past, when she was younger, as a teen. Again, some people may use learnt. Most American English speakers will treat it as a regular verb and add on ed. Learned. Okay. A period of time that's closed in the past. She learned from her parents. Okay. If you agree with what you see your fellow classmates, then you can just repeat. It's okay. You can voice your confirmation or agreement by just retyping the answer that you believe is correct. Okay. Do you agree with had tried? And yes, you could use contractions there. It's possible. Two possibilities I see. Jonas had tried it before he met Sylvia. He went kayaking before. Oh, sorry. Pooh, I should do a not. Hadn't. That would make more sense, right? Let's make it negative. Hadn't tried it before he met Sylvia. She introduced him to kayaking. That should be negative. But I'm going to note that because we have this time word, there are quite a number of American English speakers who would simply use the simple past. Jonas didn't try it before. He didn't try it before he met Sylvia. She introduced him to kayaking. So as long as the timeline is clear, you can usually get away with the simple past. But again, it is logical to use the past perfect here because we're talking about two past points in time, and the past perfect identifies the first. Okay? All right, super work. So I'm going to scroll really fast, and don't put your answers down yet because this is going to be in the community tab. Okay? And I will let you post your answers and I will correct them. Final thing we'll do, final minute or two, is a test of your listening, a quick dictation. Okay? I'm going to say a couple sentences and you are going to write the words that you hear. Let me see if I can go a little bit bigger without losing the photos. Okay? All right, let me get the actual text, which I am not showing you. You're going to listen. Okay. Get ready, get a pen or a pencil, and I'm going to read these complete statements, the two sentences, a question and a sentence. Write the missing words. I'm not going to go slow. Hey, Liliana. I will read it twice and I'll read it fast. First, okay. Do you know where many American families go to have fun? There are dozens of parks across the U.S., and many of them open only in the summer. I'll read the first question again. Do you know where many American families go to have fun? There are dozens of parks across the U.S. and many of them open only in the summer. Okay. Do you know where many... Who's going to start typing some words? I do have a playlist on fast speech, fast English. How do you understand it? What are Americans doing when we go so fast? We're linking our words, we're connecting them. Sounds somehow blend together when we're linking. Some sounds get dropped. Vowel sounds get reduced. Oh, thank you. Ray, I appreciate it. Love it, love it. Thank you so much. We're winding down. I appreciate that. And such a cute little... Is that a happy little fox? Thank you. How did you guys do? Let me slow it down. You heard it twice fast. Okay, Manuel's typing. He caught some of it. Do you know where many American families go to have fun? Go to have fun. 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 There are dozens of parks across the U.S. Dozens of parks. Dozens of parks. Dozens of parks. Dozens of parks across the U.S. Across the U.S. Across the U.S. There are dozens of parks. Dozens meaning lots. Dozens of parks across the U.S. There we go. And the last one. And many of them open only in the summer. And many of them open only in the summer. And many of them, 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 and many of them open, and many of them, and many of them, and many of them open only in the summer. Do you know where many American families go to have fun? There are dozens of parks across the U.S., and many of them open only in the summer. Do you see how I group it? Do you know where many American families go to have fun? There are dozens of parks across the U.S., and many of them open. Oh, I would do many of them open. And many of them open only in the summer. and many of them open only in the summer. I'm using my thought groups, and that also helps me pace myself. It sets the rhythm. The final content word in each group gets my stress, like and many of them open, and many of them open only in the summer. So open and summer are examples of final content words receiving more stress, right? Do you know where many American families go to have fun? Do you hear the rhythm? Go to have fun, bump, 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 bump. Go to have fun. Because go is stressed and fun is stressed, these are not. So go to, go to, go to have, go to have, go to have fun, go to have fun. Do you know where many American families go to have fun? There are dozens of parks. Dozens of. Dozens of. Dozens of parks are my stressed words. Dozens of parks. Of is not stressed. Dozens of. Dozens of parks across the U.S., and many of them open only in the summer. Listen again. Do you know where many American families go to have fun? There are dozens of parks across the U.S., and many of them open only in the summer. Okay. Yep. Yes, yes, Manuel. A carousel, but merry-go-round is what you could say. Let me put that down here. I think we write it like that, merry-go-round. Duk, duk, duk. Merry-go-round. Yes. Okay, this gives you a little taste of what we're also going to be doing on Patreon. I'm going to go wait down here and tell you that if you want more listening practice, more in depth like we just saw, but where I take a segment, test your listening, and then tell you why it might have been challenging to catch every word, what is going on in fast speech. If you want more listening practice and you need to boost your listening skills, please, high, intermediate, and advanced students, consider joining us on Patreon. We have a nice group there. We meet 2 to 3 times a month. We have Zoom classes and a longer live stream. I guarantee at least 30 minutes for this YouTube live stream. My Patreon members receive a guaranteed 60 minutes plus tasks. The Patreon community is full of tasks every month. I already posted 2 listening quizzes. One is a self-assessment with fast speech, and then they also got a movie review where they get to listen for details. So that's already week 1. There will be more tasks shared. The higher the level, the more learning opportunities there are. So if you are high, intermediate, and advanced, please consider joining us on Patreon. We are meeting on July 15th and 20th. This is morning time for me. This is evening time for me. And then this one is also going to be a morning session. Members at the higher tiers can get a 20 or 60-minute private Zoom session. So there are different levels for different budgets and different needs. Okay? All right, so we do need to end. I am going to take a quick look over at the live chat. Okay, Liliana is there, Ray is there, Hinchung is there, Larissa is there. For those who are members on both platforms, thank you so much. To the kind-hearted patrons, thank you so much. They don't get anything guaranteed, although I try to give them some perks here and there. But my kind-hearted patrons support me just through a kind donation every month, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. To all the members, thank you so much on YouTube. I know that you contribute every month as well, and I appreciate that. I hope to keep this channel going, but I do need some help to do that. First, I need people to come and continue studying with me, but I do appreciate the active support I get from members. And I got a super sticker today, which I appreciate. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry that you lost your signal, Manuel. Iris, I like the hiding cat. Cute. Okay. Any final questions before I sign off? Right. Patreon members also have the opportunity to ask questions before and after a live stream. And the higher tiers also have access, pretty good access to me. We have private messaging, which they don't abuse. I thank you very much for not peppering me with questions 24/7. But it is kind of a lifeline that if a question were to come up in the course of the month and it's a burning question and you simply cannot wait until the end of the month when we have our live stream, Patreon members have sent some questions. Throughout the month. If it's short and sweet, I answer it back short and sweet. So I support my members that way too. They get a quick link to me through private messaging on Patreon. Okay. The merry-go-round. Yes, let me type that in. I thought I typed it, but I'll put it here again. Merry-go-round. And then we say it really fast, merry-go-round, on the merry-go-round. Merry-go-round. We don't say merry-go-round. It happens very fast and it sounds more like merry-go-round. All right. I will see you. Members, check out the community tab. You'll be getting your follow-up tasks. All right. To the new members who just joined, welcome, welcome. Don't forget, members, you also have access to that old playlist of recorded live streams. There's like over 13 hours of instruction there from the past. You could also keep scrolling way back on the community tab and check out old member-only posts. There have been quite a lot. So I don't know how far back YouTube will let you scroll, but pretty far back. Also remember another wonderful perk is the audio gifts on Emojam. Even if you're not somebody who texts every day, if you get access to those audio gifts, it's an easy way to pick up some conversational expressions and hear my model because you hear my voice saying things like, what are some of them? Like, not see you later, but, what'd you say? Come again? But there's different conversational expressions, and you see an animated Jennifer, and you hear my model. So you can easily see and hear conversational expressions, which actually is interesting with the video too, because you kind of get a feel for the gestures or the body language or the facial expressions used when we say such things. Okay. All right, stay tuned. I will try to share more either shorts or videos in the month of July. I have wonderful ideas. I just need time. As you can see behind me, that's just a glimpse of what my house looks like right now. I have plastic everywhere and drop cloths everywhere because we're doing renovations, and trying to protect everything from dust is a challenge. So and also trying to work in a normal way has been a challenge. So I've tried to get creative and keeping up with social media. I do my best, and please follow me on Instagram. I've been pretty active there, and I'm going to sign off. I don't see any other questions coming in. So I wish you all a good day, a good evening, and thank you for joining me. Thank you, Manuel. I appreciate it. We have a couple more college visits coming up. That's another thing taking up my time, but it's a fun process to share this with him. And if you remember, I've been sharing some photos, and some photos of our campus visits I share on Instagram, but then I usually do something a little more special on the community tab for members.